our understanding of husband and wife and even working together is that I get the privilege and the responsibility of being the leader. You're my co-equal when it comes to us then leading our home and so on, because I rely on the wisdom that you have. I rely on your experience and your intellect and your gifting. I rely on all of that, which then helps me be a better leader, because now I'm not fighting for my position.
That's right.
If I had to always fight for my position to lead our family or lead our church and our business, then I would always be frustrated and it would be forever a battle. And I wish couples could understand this, right, that when you find the leader of your home, then that leader takes their place
Yes.
and when they have their place of leadership and authority, then you find yourself willing, and as long as there's security there, you find yourself willing to pull people alongside of you as a leader. And for us, it just happens to be that you and I have learned how to work together.
Right.
Because I remember looking out one day, Mary, and there was a lot of females in our church, and I'm leading in my role as speaker. And there's a lot of females as I'm speaking. And I also see the men, and I'm really connecting with the men, but I'm thinking to myself, wow, am I really connecting with these women? I need help.
Yeah.
And here you were with the gift, the experience, the same thing that's on me is on you. Why wouldn't I want you to come alongside of me?
Right.
And now together we are working hand in hand in this capacity, because there's women and men, but there's women that need to hear what you bring to the table. So I'm helping one group, you're helping another. Together, we're helping the entire group.
And you've always been very fair in leadership. You've always been somebody who shares. And, honestly, I think about the times that you've asked for my help, and I probably was thinking of it through a female lens versus stepping back. And that scripture verse, there is neither, therefore, now female or male, right? When you look at it through the lens of the work, just the work and the responsibility, and you take off, well, that's because I'm a female, or that's because I'm a man. When you get rid of those types of filters, which are very divisive anyway, and it just becomes about the responsibility and what we are called to do and what we're doing, but not looking at it through the lens of gender, which is really what God wants us to do, is look at it through the lens of principle and through the lens of the work. When I put that away, and I think women have a much harder time, well, I know they do. They're yoked with this burden of, well, it's because I'm a female that this happens to me. If I was a man, I'd have the world. It's a man's world, right? Beyonce's been singing that. But when you take that filter off and you don't look at it through the lens of a woman, and I had to do that. And I looked at it from the perspective of how fair you were. This was really your church in a lot of ways. Yes, it's God's church, but this was your mission. You started this. You stepped out. You had your name on the bank accounts, not me. And when I started looking at it through that lens and not gender lenses, it helped me stay in my place and not compete. But that's a real, true Hollywood story problem, is the competition.
Yeah.
And we say, we're not meant to compete. We're meant to complete. Yeah, okay, whatever. But we do. And we struggle. I've been tempted. You've been tempted. We talk about
You're
that.
very competitive.
No.
Yes, you didn't like the fact that just right here, I'm higher and speaking over my mic.
No.
And you didn't like the position of your mic
because I was slouching.
Steve's mic is that.
Well.
And I want that too.
That's
You're
true.
You're very competitive.
I am. We both are.
That's not bad.
No, but if I look at it through the lens of I'm a competitive female, I'll never win. Well, that's going to hinder my success.
Yeah.
Because I'm in this position. So
Yes,
I'm going to make the best of this position. And something I said to Christopher, our son, one time is walk in the fullness of what you carry. Walk in the fullness of the weight of what you carry. And it meant a lot to him. And I stopped and I thought, okay, what does that even mean? But I heard it so strong. Walk in the fullness. Carry the full weight. It's easy for us to be in a position where the sky's the limit and we let excuses and the wrong lenses and the wrong voices speak to us that truly hinder walking in the fullness of where we are, right? So like I'm in this room, and this room has cameras, and it has lights, and it has rugs, and it's got microphones. And that would be like me coming in here and deciding I'm going to do a podcast, but I'm not going to use the mic right, right? I'm going to use the fullness of this room.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're walking in our positions and we're working together, we're so busy looking at the other one and questioning, what can I do? What can I do? How much authority do I have in this space? And then having hangups over it. No, just take advantage of the position you have, put away those negative thoughts, and just trust God.
Yeah.
You know, and then use it all to the fullness of what this position affords you.
You know, this is so important, and it's why we need to hit this every season.
Yeah.
We have to go back to the power of working together.
Yes.
And being one. We hit this in a number of episodes in our first season, but it's good to keep coming back because people need to be reminded we have to work together daily. And I can remember something, 30 days ago, or I can hear something 30 days ago and get it then. But then you and I go through a rough patch, or money's tight, or we're having problems with staffing or something, and we forget what we heard back then. So I got to be reminded, okay, no, this is a good thing,
right,
that we're working together. So let me ask you this question, Mary. How do you work with your husband? Because I'm going to tell him how I work with my wife.
Oh, okay, you go first.
No, ladies.
Go first.
Well, how do I work with my wife? I think there's some patience.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to always want a wife first.
Yes.
Before I want a employee. That's important. And you and I had to come to that realization because I was butting heads with you. I wanted you to do things a certain way. I wanted you to be more like me. I wanted you to have more of an administrative bent, and not realizing that your unique, fun-loving, free, caring, uplifting, creative gifting or personality about you added to what I needed.
Yeah.
And we both couldn't be like me, or else we would be a very boring organization. And, you know how to light up the room when you walk in. I know how to turn off all the lights when I walk in. There was a balance to that.
Right.
And so working with you meant that I had to say, okay, I want a wife more than I want the person working for me.
Right.
To be a certain way, because we had to sit back. What that really helped me do was appreciate your gifts that you bring to the table, and I'm totally weak in that area. And I had to say, all right, I don't have that. I need that. She's got it. Come on. Appreciate that. That has really helped me over the years, because even our kids come to you and I, and they're asking the question, asking you, how do I work with Dad? Yeah. I got an issue. They're asking me, how do I work Mom? I got an issue. And it's cute because now we can give them.
We're like each other's interpreters.
Yeah, we are. We are.
They are.
And we don't sit back and ever say, well, you're right. She's this or he's that. We're like, we laugh. Right. And then we say, well, this is how you have to perceive it. Look at it. This is the way you have to deal with Mom. This is going to give you the best results in working with Mom. So I think when you and I work together, I come to the table and I have to say before we sit down at the table, Mary's got good information. Listen and read between the lines, and let's see what the contribution is, because she helps us tremendously. If I do that, then it's easier for me to understand what then your personality is bringing to the table, because this isn't just us.
Right.
We've got John in the back there. Yeah. He's in the studio. He works with his wife, Jackie.
Yeah.
And they even now, they just moved into the same office together. Oh. They share an office. That's going to be exciting as time goes on.
Y'all need to listen to this podcast.
I am taking notes, Pastor.